Swami, you are in mute.
Shantihi Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdhaye Namaha
Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha
Anantananda Krishnaya
Anantananda Krishnaya
Jagan Mangala Murtaye.
Jagan Mangala Murtaye.
This is from the 8th verse. Nahi bhana dhrite sattvam narte bhanam chitochitaha chit sambandho pinadhyasat rite tena hama advayam. Establish Advaitam of the self. We've done, I think most of it is complete. Where were we when we left? Oh, I think I remember that. On page 100, coming back to the topic, from there we have to start, right? Who will start reading today?
Yeah. I can read. Shall I read?
Yeah, please do.
Sure. Okay. Coming back to the topic, the sambandha between the vastu and the object is only a drishti, a standpoint. There is no need to give an answer to the question of sambandha because there is no sambandha. When we oblige with an answer, then we say that the sambandha is adhyasika. Only adhyasika sambandha. Therefore, the author says, Chit sambhedaha api na adhyasad rite tena karanena. Because of that reason, aham advayaha. Here aham is atma. Aham advayaha, non-dual. Why? Because no object is without revealing itself, and no object can reveal itself without being conscious. No object can have any sambandha with consciousness, and the perceived sambandha can only be explained away by adhyasa. The Moola Sambandha, the basic Sambandha, is between the Pramata and the Atma Chaitanya, and every other Sambandha depends on this. That Moola Sambandha is Adhyasika. Therefore, all other Vishayas and Sambandhas which depend on a Vishayi, which can only arise after the Moola Sambandha, all of them are Adhyasika. One more thing to note.
This is very
Anything
clear that
Adhyashta,
sambandha, we start by saying there is an adhyasika sambandha. Just like we say there is a jagat and there is this mithya jagat and so on, and eventually we negate all of that also. Here also, to begin with, to a person, because this is not an easy idea to grasp. You will see in the next verse also, there's too many obstacles in our trying to understand this fact that aham advaya brahma. This conditioning that we have about what is aham is so deeply ingrained, so deeply embedded, that to get that concept right, that I am that Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam and I are the same. And everything else that I think I am so far has got to be relooked at. And this is the portion where we have a little challenge. Not a little challenge, huge challenge. Because a human mind is so conditioned to think of I Initially, think of I as the body, mind, sense complex. You can negate that. There is okay, but there is, then I must be only the ahankara. Initially, you say, I'm not the body, okay, I understand. That must be the mind. That also you can negate. Then if I'm not the body, if I'm not the mind, what am I? Ahankara. I'm still unable to grasp the idea that I'm only Chaitanya Swarupam. That is why this Lakshartha becomes very important to understand. What is the word meaning as a Lakshartha of Satyam, of Jnanam, of Anantam? Only when that becomes a little clear, is it possible to even consider this as a knowledge that we have to gain. Otherwise, it keeps coming back to the same problem again and again and again. Does it really release itself? So, here in this paragraph that you just read, there is no sambandha, it's only a drishti, a point of view. But when we have to give an answer, we say sambandha adhyasika. That really is not there at all. There is no sambandha. There is no second. Where is the sambandha? And for that, to understand that, I have to accept that my body is non-self-existent, for all practical purposes, non-existent. My mind is non-existent. My thoughts are non-existent. It's so difficult. Where do I understand it? I have to understand it in my buddhi only, no? That buddhi itself is non-existent. How am I going to grasp it? This whole section here is something it's worth reading over and over again to understand. Mula Sambandha, the basic Sambandha is between the Pramata and the Atma Chaitanya. He uses the word Pramata. What is Pramata? The knower. Now, at one level, I say that the whole complex is I, that is the knower. I know all the objects of the world. So I and the objects of the world. But then a little bit of vichara and say, no, the objects of the world should include also my body. It also has the same properties as the objects of the world. Therefore, this complex cannot be I because the body is not part of that. So it must be the mind. Mind must be the I, the mind is seeing the object, the body. But even the mind is subject to change. If the mind is subject to change, who is noticing the change then? Something else must be noticing the change. Otherwise, how can I say there's a change? What is that something? So you keep looking at this a little bit more closely, a little bit more intensely. And then we have to take the support of the Shastra. When the Shastra eventually says, you are only Chaitanyam. Body is not, you, the mind is not, you, the other way around. You are not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the thought, you're not the senses, you're not the feelings, you're not anything. But all of them seem to exist and they exist because of I. So this paragraph, Swami says, this sambandha you have to understand. With the Pramata and Atma Chaitanya. And every other sambandha depends on this. If you accept this, then other things will move forward. Yes, Divyansh.
Swamiji, in this drishti thing, like in previous pages, Swamiji said that like the questioner was talking about the pot and we are talking about the clay. Like pot is nothing but clay. And we say that pot is nama rupa. So in that case, like I understand, okay, so but I know what is clay. So I am able to say that okay, pot is just nama rupa and clay is something more than just a pot. But when we say the isness for anything, that is the real thing. And other thing is nama rupa. A tree is, a pot
Your
is.
voice,
Is my voice clear,
if you
Swamiji?
define your universe, if you define your universe as the universe of all clay products, that's the only universe. For your Drishtanta, within that, you have this business of saying there's only clay. But if you go further high, take a helicopter view and keep going, and you take the entire universe, entire cosmos, similar thing will apply there also. So there, that which is the adhisthana for every clay product is clay. Okay, fair enough. But within the parameters of that universe, now we expand the universe to saying a limitless universe. All products, all things known, unknown, past, present, tangible, intangible, known, and everything, near, far, everything. All for all them also there is an adhisthana. There has to be an adhisthana. So it's a definition of your universe. So when we say Jagat, it includes everything. So if you look at the Chandogya Upanishad, there are these examples, 9 examples given. One is pot and clay, one is gold and gold ornaments, iron and iron instruments, and so on. All of them are there. There are different sub-universes, if you want, for purpose of illustration. You take everything and still makes a larger universe, an unlimited universe, that also has an adhisthana. If I've understood a question, go ahead. Otherwise, if it's not clear, please.
Yes. So like when you said that we take a helicopter and we like include more things. So just can you like explain one step? Let's say I am talking about all the clay objects, right? Is my audio clear, Swamiji?
Yes, now it's better.
Okay. So if we talk about all the clay objects, so I have taken the set of all the clay objects, right? Now I am introducing one more, let's say, steel objects in that universe. So we have,
Not in that universe, sorry. Steel objects are another universe.
yeah, I'm taking union of both these two sets for now.
Okay.
So we have steel here, we have clay here. How to like determine that they have a common
They
adhisthana?
don't have a common. They don't have a common adhisthana. Your definition of universe itself is wrong. Your
Okay.
universe for clay products is one universe. Your universe for steel products is one universe. There may be a space, what they call it, AUB. Is that what they call it in say
Union,
something
yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
A
A
union
intersection B. A intersection B.
something like that. So only a little portion is common. Now, they're not all common. But when you take the entire Jagat, everything is included. For all of these, there is a common adhisthana, single adhisthana.
So if you said that we take entire universe, these two things also will be in that universe, right? And
Yes.
if
Look at it this way, Divyansh. What is the adhisthana for the clay universe, clay
clay,
product universe? Clay.
clay,
What is the adhisthana for steel products universe? Steel.
steel,
What is adhisthana for gold ornaments?
gold.
This is a gold. Now, gold, steel, clay, and all the other things which are adhisthana for individual universes, they also have an adhisthana. Gold is not. So now I have many more products like gold, steel, clay, blah, 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 blah. All of them also have an adhisthana.
How will we determine they have a same adhisthana?
Shastra. There is no other solution to this.
Another
That is why
analogy,
all your
Swamiji.
logic has to be Shastra Anukula Tarka. See, there is logic you can apply. And you build that logic. That is why science by itself fails at some point of time when you try to understand this. Science can take you this far, but no further. Because what you're now looking for is a rational answer. You cannot get a rational answer.
Right.
Advaita, you cannot purely on the basis of tarka, rationality, you can't define it. Sorry, you
Because
were
it's
saying
not an
something, Jay?
object.
No, I was just saying the other best analogy to understand the common adhishtanam for all of these is your dream. So in the dream world, you have all these materials, steel, clay, everything is there in the dream world. What is the common adhisthana? Only the dreamer's mind. Dreamer's mind, so that there is no dispute, right? So dreamer's mind is the common adhishtanam for the entire dream jagat. Similarly, the waking world, the entire universe that we see and we call it as Jagat, the Adhishtanam is consciousness.
That we only know by Shastra. There is no
Correct.
other way to know it.
Definitely no other way. That is what Swamiji just now alluded to. Only with Shastra we can know that.
Okay.
That's what's called Shastra Anukula Tarka. A logical, this thing which cannot be negated, but with support from Shastra.
Correct.
Simply by taking only logic. When you take only a logic, what happens? You have to depend on your senses for the data. How is logic developed? This observation, this observation, this observation, whether it is sight or smell or whatever it is, enhanced by various technologies, is your starting point. You have now come to a point where that which you're trying to understand is not accessible to any of these senses. How are you going to do it? Therefore, Shastra.
I think Swamiji, initially we have already accepted the fact that the Atma is not perceivable by the Pancha Pramanas. Hence, we have taken Shruti as a Pramana and accepted and started this entire Vedanta studies based on the first acceptance of the fact that this Atma is not available for the Pancha Pramanas. And so we have to accept the Shastra Pramana or the Shruti Pramana as the only means by which we can know Atma. So we have to accept the fact that Atma can be known only through the Pramana, Shruti Pramana.
And that it is logical. It is not illogical. It does not contradict any other logic. It does not contradict any other Pramana. And yet it satisfies all conditions.
One
Yeah.
last thing.
Okay.
So like when we discuss about anything in the Jagat, when we say that we will show you like the Brahman, like show you, we say that that object is, right? And the object is Nama Rupa and the isness is the Brahman, the nature
Correct.
of Brahman. So like, but it like looks very abstract, right? So isness like it's just a language thing, right?
No, it is. No? How do you say something is? How do you say something exists?
I am revealing it. It reveals
How?
to me
How?
because I am conscious.
It is, yeah, only that consciousness. That conscious, that you say, when you say I am conscious, you may say that Divyansh, is conscious, that mosquito is also conscious. But what makes you conscious and what makes the mosquito also conscious? That is why we're discussing all this time. That in fact, I think further in 9 or 10 somewhere you will find this discussion also coming up again. That there is an individual Atma-like presence in each of these, which is non-self-existing. Where does that come from? Where is that consciousness, where does that come from? How do you become conscious? That itself has to be based on something else. My consciousness is different from somebody else's consciousness, that's different from somebody's consciousness. How do you know? Unless there is something which can see all these differences, you won't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we continue?
One more thing to note. Anything adhyashta is not separate from the adhisthana, adhyashtatvat. This is what we call mithya. Like the pot is not separate from clay, anything adhyashta is not separate from the adhisthana. What is adhyashta is mithya. It is not vastu. And not being vastu, it has no existence independent of the vastu. Therefore, all that is there is one vastu, Brahma, and that Brahma aham asmi. Brahman is Chit Swarupa, and without Chit, really there is no object to talk about at all. Any object that you talk about does not exist apart from Chit. Therefore, Aham Advayaha, I am non-dual. So, how can you say that Brahman does not exist? Or how can you say that I cannot be that Brahman? Both are not possible. Therefore, Brahma Vastu Ekam Aparichinnam iti Siddham Bhavati.
That is the end of the 7th verse.
So now I think we have, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess
any
this is,
observations on this, or should we go on to the next verse?
yeah, so I think this also speaks to the two orders of reality again, right? You cannot have a relationship between Satyam being a higher order of reality and Mithya, everything else being a lower order of reality. And so there is really one object, and that's
Absolutely right. I have a backache in my dream. I cannot say in my dream, doesn't matter when I wake up, no, I will go to the physiotherapist. It will not help at all. What happens in the dream is another order of reality. I cannot say that, like I told you that day, no, the fellow cannot say, I'm going to marry my dream girl and wait for it to dream of her and then marry her. You can't do it. They are different orders of reality. No sambandha at all. That bit clear. It's about how, because from here, he changes slightly in the approach he takes. Up to now, we looked at how I have to be that Brahman. Swarupa is the same. Both are Karakarya, Karanakarya, Tatasya Lakshana is the same. We went on to talk about Nityatvam being same in both. And Sarvagatam, he talked about, same in both. Therefore, both are same. In each of these, he really developed this thing. And both are now, finally, he's saying, both are Advaya. When both are there, there's no both. You cannot have two Advayas. Now it takes a slightly different kind of this thing to look into the nature of this a little bit more depth. Yeah, shall we continue reading?
sure. So verse 8, the vision is Brahmaiva Aham Sachidananda Lakshanam. Then objections are raised one by one, and each verse answers an objection or doubt. Now, this is the objection. This is what I feel about myself. You may call it Pratyagatma. My Pratyagatma is like this only. Like what? Dehoham. Dehoham means one identifies with all the gunas of the Deha. The Deha does not feel or say I, nor you think I am the body. Nobody thinks I'm the body. But the Deha Gata gunas are superimposed upon the Atma. Suppose the Deha, the body is standing. It is a particular guna of the Deha, but one thinks I am standing. If it is sitting, I am sitting. Therefore, all the kriyas on the part of the Deha are assumed as kriyas of the Atma. I have this feeling that I have all the Deha dharmas and also Indriya dharmas. All the Karya Karana Sanghata dharmas seem to be my dharmas only. When I identify myself with the Indriya dharmas, I use expressions like Kanoham, Badhiroham, Andhoham, ityadi. All these I am are identification with Indriya dharmas. If a leg is missing, I am lame. I don't say the body is lame. I say I am lame. The feeling is I am lame. And if the Vag Indriya, another Karmendriya, is not working, I say I am mute. That is also taken as an
How do you say I'm
attribute of
mute if you're
Atma,
mute?
myself only.
Huh? How do you say you're mute if you're mute?
Write it and say.
Okay, but this aside.
Then, identifying with prana, I say I'm hungry, thirsty. Then manaha, all the conditions of the mind are my conditions. Between the mind and myself, there is no distance whatsoever. Similarly, buddhi, any nischaya is my nischaya. I am decisive, I'm confused, etc. And therefore, any buddhi dharma is also my dharma only.
Can
So,
anybody
what is
connect
the
this with
question?
the Panchakosha?
When
Can somebody make an attempt to try and connect this with Panchakoshas?
Yes, like
Yeah, please.
Pancha, like Panchakosha means that we misidentify ourselves at 5 levels. So first is the uh, Annamaya Kosha,
Annamaya Kosha.
all the physical attributes. Then we have Pranamaya, like all the I'm hungry, thirsty, and then we have Manomaya. Wait, yes, Manomaya, like all the thoughts that in the mind, and then we say I am thinking, and then we have Vijnanamaya when we say that if the body does something, the doerness is in the mind, then we say I am the doer, and then we have Anandamaya if we like the enjoyer.
This what so far Swami said is not included Anandamaya, but it is implied.
Yes, like Buddhi and Mana, Anandamaya is there only, right?
Yeah.
Identification with Mana.
They are your Sthula Sharira is your
Annamaya.
Annamaya and Pranamaya. Then you have Sukshma Sharira, Manomaya and Vijnanamaya. And Anandamaya is really the Karana Sharira, but we won't go into that now.
Pranamaya is also Sukshma, no, Swamiji?
Pranamaya, because it activates the whole
Physical body.
Sharira, whole Sthula Sharira. It's also classified as Sukshma. But you're right, if you break it down, you can also call it, because it is a part of the Sukshma Sharira, you can say it is. But what happens with prana is a very peculiar. Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas are more of Indriyas. Prana is not even an Indriya. But we'll not get to the discussion now, like I said. That's not the discussion on hand. Yeah.
So, what is the question? When I'm endowed with all these qualities limiting me to be an individual, Deha dharmadi gunaihi vishishtah aham. How can this I be Param Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, etc.? Where is the possibility? This is the question. This is answered now with a hetu. In every verse, there is a hetu because an objection raised is answered. All possible objections that we see all over the Shastra are presented and resolved here in verse form in this text.
We don't have a bhashyam for this. But if Acharya had written a bhashyam, he would have nicely connected each verse with an introductory bhashyam. And I don't know, at this level, when you are studying this, the questions that seem to be that whoever is raising, not even nobody is raising the question, but he's answering them anyway, look a little elementary to us. But that leads to discussions, which is what we want. So everywhere they say, what is the question? And I am endowed with all these qualities, limiting me to an individual. That itself is error. Who is endowed with all this? If
Ankara.
there is physical pain, the body is endowed with that. If I'm hungry, the prana is endowed with that. If I'm disturbed, the mind is endowed with that. I am not involved in any of this. That has to be understood. Yeah.
न देहो नेन्द्रियं चाहं न प्राणो न मनो न धीः ममता परिरब्धत्वात् आक्रीडत्वादिदं धियः न देहो नेन्द्रियं चाहं न प्राणो न मनो न धीः. This is the pratignya here. Deha aham na. I'm not the physical body. Na indriyam. Indriya here stands for Indriya Samuham. The entire group of Indriyas, I am not. Na pranaha. Nor I am prana and its modifications. Na manaha, not even the mind. Na dhihi, not the buddhi. Why? Mamata parirabdhatvat akridatvat idam dhiyah. Mamata is minus. Mama pratyaya. Mamataya parirabdhatvat means on account of being embraced by mamata. Parirabdha means being embraced. Mamataya
Rab
parirabdhatvat
dhatu. Pari plus
alingitatvat.
rab dhatu is parirabdha. Parirab is the dhatu. And then parirabdha will be ikta pratyaya probably. Parirabdhatvat. Rab is what? I
So
think Rab is to
mamataya.
be happy. Continue.
Mamataya parirabdhatvat aling. I'm sorry.
Please continue.
Alingitatvat, all of them, the deha indriyadi being completely embraced as mama, mine. I'm not any of them because you say my deha. My deha means it is the mama pratyaya vishayaha yatha mama ghataha, like my pot, my umbrella, etc. If you look at people queued up to collect water from a street tap, where you see all kinds of colorful pots, each person has got a mamata for his or her pot. So mamata buddhi is there. This is my pot iti. There are a lot of quarrels also. This is because of mamata. Every ghata has mamata parirabdhatvam. Even though the ghata is sitting there, mamata is here in the buddhi. Mamata goes and embraces that ghata. Externally it travels and then covers that ghata. Like the ghata is covered by mama pratyaya. Similarly, deha, which is more intimate, is also covered by mama pratyaya.
In India,
This is
it is
my
not so
body
much
iti.
now, but there was a time when in most places, including in big cities, including in places like Delhi, people had to go to get water in pots from a hand pump. And people would stand in line to get their water. It's become a lot better now. Even in villages now, you get water from the pipes. But this was actually a situation I have certainly seen in my childhood. A lot of this. This is not the only one. I don't know how many of you have seen that. When milk was introduced by the daily milk scheme, or everybody used to go put their vessels or a bottle or whatever in a line. And you have to wait for hours to get that milk. So you have to actually put it there. If the milk could come out, say expected to come at 9 o'clock, you put it there at 5 o'clock in the morning and keep waiting. And in the meanwhile, somebody else will take away your bottle or something. There used to be fights. I've actually seen these fights happen. Even when Mother Dairy came, they had booths where you could go and collect milk. Even then, this problem was there. Because shortage, we just didn't have enough. So at that time, we had to, not only your vessel is my ghata, my bottle, but also my place. So everything that mine was there in all of them. When in times of shortage, you can see this quite a lot. Not so much now. I think now it changed quite a bit. You have to the ghata, my ghata. Yeah.
This is my body, iti. This body is protected by you as your body, indicating mamata parirabdhatvam. Mama pranaha, my hunger, my thirst, my health is all my prana. One commonly says, my mind is restless, my buddhi is confused, or it is clear, decisive, my sense organs do not function, and so on. Even though sometimes you say aham badhiraha when there is no vichara, once you do a little vichara, it becomes mama only. Then you use that mamakara only, like mama indriya, my eyes have some problem, my eyes do not see as well as they did before. That mamata is there in all of them.
This
What do you understand from this?
as a practice, let's say when you have a headache, rather than say, I have a headache, if you consciously say, my head is aching, in your own mind, you will probably start moving into the next step of saying, that head is not I, that is my head. My back is hurting. Rather than say, I have a backache, my back is hurting. Well, at least in one's own mind, one starts thinking along those lines. I have told you about this one Swami called Swami Ramatirtha in the, I think, 20s and 30s. He would address audiences all over the world. He would never say, I say so, or I think like this, or I do this, or I tell you, or whatever. He'll always say, Rama says. So he was consciously practicing this thing, saying that this is not I. So maybe we can also, as a first step, say, be conscious of how we pronounce things. It's very important. For example, in other cases, I've seen this happen. Suppose somebody tells a child, the mother tells a child, my glasses are on the table, please bring them. He goes there, looks for it, comes back and tells the mother, it is not there. Correct? Now, that statement may not be correct. What he probably means is, I could not see it. So how you word it's because you're conscious of it. I told you another example. When we were children, we'd go out and play and we get hurt so many times and come back. And sometimes I remember coming back home and telling my father, I was bleeding, and telling my father, the thorn pricked me. He would say, what? Which thorn came and pricked you? No thorn came to you. You went to the thorn, pricked yourself. Why do you say thorn pricked you? Just the awareness, consciousness of this thing will probably help in our understanding.
So Swamiji, we need not say I have a headache. Like that, Dhanam has headache, Dhanam is cooking. Like that, we can tell no.
See, for your own
For
benefit, it is not for anybody else's benefit, don't it? Generally, I am even saying you don't have to tell anybody. Nobody cares.
Yes.
If you have a
But-
headache, if you're telling yourself, you can tell yourself, my head is aching.
Yeah.
Then at least you are saying my head, not I.
Yes.
You're separating. After studying so much, we can certainly do something like that.
Yes. We can practice something.
Yeah, why not? Yes, Divyansh.
Swamiji, one question. So we are saying that okay. So there are two things that we are talking about. One is Lokika perspective and one is Paramarthika perspective, right? So when we say that the bucket, so the bucket has relation with the body, let's say the bodily identity that I have. So the bucket has relation with Divyansh, and physical body has relationship with the mind, and mind has relation with the ahankara, the ego. But Atma, the real self, has no relation with anybody, right? So isn't there a conflict? Like, because ego still has to like let's say continue till the body is there or something. And if it is an enlightened ego, it knows that it is in reality it is Atma. So in its day-to-day working, so isn't there a conflict? Like,
There is. What is the relationship between Atma and any of these things that you talked about? Is there a relationship or there is no relationship at all?
adhyasika at most.
Good, that is one aspect of it. Even when you look at relationships between the Sharira, the senses, or whatever, all bodies, all senses, all everything is only Atma. Correct? Be Karyatvat. But Atma is none of them. So that is a relationship, one-way relationship. If at all there is a relationship, like Jaya said, no, everything in your dream has a relationship with your knowledge. Because they are nothing but your knowledge. But your knowledge is not that. Right? So the relationship that you're looking at between things within the Jagat, you can find a relationship between them. Someday the whole system in your body works in some beautifully aligned form that they don't interfere with each other. They work, the whole system works in a very beautiful way. There's some relationship. But it's so much so that, when a person has a kidney problem, if he takes medicine for the kidney, it affects his heart. If he takes medicine for heart, it affects his kidney. So obviously there's some relationship there. But with the Atma, it is another order of reality, and therefore the relationship is not something you can easily put your finger on. And because it's, if at all, a relationship, it's a relationship which is one way. And that is what you call adhyastha.
Swamiji, I am this body is not me, right, Swamiji?
No, other way around. The body is I.
Body is
The
I.
mind
Okay.
is I. Every body is I. The chair is I. The table is I. The air is I. The time is I. Everything is I. But I am not any of them.
I am not any of them, right?
The I is none of them. But everything seems to exist because of that I.
Okay.
Like your dream example, if you again keep going back to that, the whole dream, everything in the dream, the chair, table, the air, time, including time, space, everything is nothing but the dreamer's knowledge. But the dreamer's knowledge is not none of them. Something very different. if you want to remember it, I'll tell you a simple formula for that. B is equal to A, but A is not B. B stands for body and all the other things attached with that. Is A, is the Atman. B doesn't have an existence of its own. It is only the Atman. But A is not equal to B, which is a fallacy from a mathematical perspective.
Like actor and beggar example. Actor and beggar example.
Which in which? Sorry.
Actor and beggar example.
Actor and beggar. Yes,
Actor
yes.
and beggar.
Actor and whatever role he's playing. Yeah. All the roles, only the actor. I remember reading about a movie where the same actor acted 10 different roles. I think it was called Dashavataram. All the roles are there. All of them are nothing but the actor, but the actor is none of them. Yeah. Can we continue?
Yeah. So what do you understand from this? Mama pratyaya vishayaha na aham. I'm not what I look upon as mine. Why? Mama pratyaya vishayatvat, being a vishaya of mama pratyaya, like a pot or a house. It is not aham. Mama pratyaya vishayatvat ghatavat grihavat. The house which I call my house is not taken to be me. Not only mama pratyaya vishayah na aham, idam pratyaya vishayah api na aham, idam buddhi vishayatvat. So there's a footnote, idam pratyaya vishaya is something recognized as this, while mama pratyaya vishaya is something recognized as mine. Therefore, neither is to be taken as aham, I. Wherever mama buddhi vishayatvam is there, idam buddhi vishayatvam is also there. In general, idam buddhi comes first. Then afterwards, mama buddhi may come with reference to some objects. Idam buddhi vishayatva buddhi is another reason to negate my identification with any object I know as this. This is conveyed by akridatvat idam dhiyaha. Idam pratyayasya idam buddhehe vishayatvat akridatvat leela sthanatvat. It is an object of play for the idam pratyaya, meaning it is an object obtaining in the idam pratyaya.
Idam pratyaya.
The deha prana.
When can you wait? Take a break. First, let's address Divyanshu's. Yes. Yes, Divyanshu. Continue, please.
Swamiji, you mentioned that instead of saying I am having headache, we should say my head is aching. But it will be more direct to say like this head is aching, right? Because
Sure, you can. I'm only giving it as a thought technique, if you want, to constantly remind yourself of this fact. That's all. You can use whatever works for you. See, the problem with the idam pratyaya is this. Anything outside of the body, it's very easy to arrive at this fact that this idam pratyaya cannot be I. It's outside, this table is not I. It's very clear. It's away from the body. So our problem starts when we have it on the body. So if you say, for example, this shirt of mine is green. Nobody wearing a green shirt. Okay. This shirt of mine is green. You have everything there. This is idam pratyaya. This shirt of mine, because I'm wearing the shirt, is aham pratyaya, aham thought, and is green is the quality of the shirt, of the object. None of them relate to I.
Is Swamiji is audible?
I guess. No, I think he's frozen.
Yeah, the video is frozen.
Probably lost connection.
Swamiji is not frozen. Swamiji's video has frozen.
Okay.
He is back.
There is a bit of a heavy wind and rain, what causing disruption. So, idam buddhi vishayatvam is also there. In general, idam buddhi vishayatvam. Idam comes first normally. This shirt, my shirt. Sometimes it becomes one. Up to that point, up to what is on the sharira, you can negate. Then you say, this hair of mine is black. I mean, mine is not, but I'm just saying, hair of mine is black or white or whatever. But it's still this hair. And it is on me, on my head, so I think this is my hair. So when you go to Tirupati and cut it out, then my hair is going to be made into a wig. But not I. Up to this point, it's relatively simple. Then once you get into the idea of looking at the Pancha Koshas, then you have to really think about them. How easy it is to fall into the trap of saying, I have put on weight. You don't have weight. Therefore, you can't put on weight, you can't lose weight. But that is what we do. That's what we are. And I'm only saying that generally people say these things and mean it exactly the same way. I'm saying as students of Vedanta, having come this far, I'm only saying in our mind, let us, by using this expression slightly differently, my body will put on weight, put on 3 kilos, maybe more conscious of the fact that that is not I. There again, it is not the end of the story. I'm sure that lots will be covered later. But our understanding of when you say my, even after all this analysis, my body, whose body? Atma doesn't have any mindness. I know nothing, there is nothing, not in the same order of reality. So whose body are we talking about? Whose mind are we talking about? I want you to think about this. My mind, that mind is not I, is reasonably clear. Because mind keeps changing, somebody has to observe the change. So one way of looking at it is saying, I is ahankara. It's something which is not easily definable. If I say I is ahankara, then everything belongs to ahankara. Then you can say my mind is disturbed today. You don't say I am disturbed. You don't say it's just another level of analysis. But at some point in time, we have to look at the ahankara also. Ahankara also keeps changing. Ahankara is not constant. It also waxes and wanes, it goes up and down at different points of time. And there are so many ahankaras. So what is the thing that observes the change of the ahankara? That is what we think about. Yeah. So all this, if we keep in the mind when we read these things, it will start making more and more sense. We have a couple more minutes. Should we read some more and then finish it? Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of add a little bit to it. So I think it all comes back to that subject of drishti, right? Where we place the I.
Absolutely correct.
If you're placing it in the body or the mind,
it's a very interesting observation because
then that's how
I
you
ask myself,
identify.
Who's placing the drishti where?
Yeah.
See, unfortunately, fortunately, we have to deal with it from within the Jagat. That's how we have to go. And somewhere along the line, we have to figure out that this change has to take place. That's why I said, I give the example of saying, this knowledge has to arise in the buddhi. What is the knowledge? None of these things have an existence of their own. And the same buddhi is also have to arrive at a knowledge that even the buddhi does not have an existence of its own. The thought doesn't have an existence of its own. So at that stage, a transition has to take place. Divyansh, can you hold the question? We will take it up in the next class. Or put it in the group if you want to. We will finish wherever we stop today and then we'll continue the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi.
Harihi Om.
Thank you.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದः. ಪುನಃ
Om
मिलामः.